by the beginning of the weekend. I mean, the end of the weekend. At least my national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
Spoiler alert, they're not close. So I'll get to the statements from Israel and Hamas in just a moment, but President Biden is under the impression that there will be a ceasefire in Gaza within a week in exchange for around 100 hostages who have been held captive by Hamas in the Gaza Strip since October 7th. Now, the president delivered these comments spontaneously, as you can tell. I mean, he's at an ice cream shop eating an ice cream cone in response to questions during a visit at this ice cream shop after taping a segment on Seth Meyers' late night talk show. Now, Israel's war cabinet over the weekend approved the broad terms of a deal that would involve a 6-week truce for the release of about 40 hostages. An Israeli delegation is expected to meet in Qatar with intermediaries from the United States, Egypt, and Qatar. Now, an agreement for a lengthy ceasefire, time to start with the beginning of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan next week, would halt the Israeli bombardment in Gaza, which has killed more than 30,000 people at this point. It could also provide an opening for more humanitarian aid to flow into the Gaza Strip. At this point, humanitarian aid has kind of come to a grinding halt as a result of UNRWA being unfunded, following Israel's unfounded allegations that staffers from UNRWA engaged in the atrocities on October 7th, and that about 10% of UNRWA staffers have affiliations with Hamas. Again, none of that has been proven to be true, and Israel has failed to provide a shred of evidence to back up those claims. Now, Biden said a halt in hostilities could open the door to a broader realignment in the region, with Arab states like Saudi Arabia recognizing Israel. But he also pulled back a bit by describing a so-called two-state solution in which Palestinians would get a nation of their own as more of a long-term goal, not really a priority at the moment. He says if we can get that temporary ceasefire, we're going to be able to move in a direction where we can change the dynamic and not have a two-state solution immediately, but a process, if you will, to get to a two-state solution, a process to guarantee Israel's security and the independence of the Palestinians. And it appears that Biden is accepting Israel's empty promises on evacuations on the border town of Rafah, because Rafah is where 1 million displaced Palestinians are currently sheltering. Israel is planning on doing a ground invasion in Rafah, and considering the densely populated region, that's even more densely populated at the moment. Far more people are gonna die if Israel carries out the war in that area, similar to how they've carried out the war in other parts of Gaza, which has been a complete and utter disaster for civilians. Biden said, quote, "There are too many innocent people that are being killed, and Israel has slowed down the attacks in Rafah. They have to, and they've made a commitment to me. They're going to see to it that there is the ability to evacuate significant portions of Rafah before they go and take out the remainder of Hamas." Unclear how Israel is allegedly gonna help evacuate more than 1 million Palestinians from a tiny, tiny portion of land in the Gaza Strip. I would almost venture to say that it's complete and utter BS, and Israel really has no intention of doing so. But what's also really interesting is both Netanyahu and Hamas have made clear that a ceasefire is not in fact imminent. And Netanyahu said on Sunday that Israeli forces would invade Rafah regardless of any ceasefire and hostage deal. It has to be done, he said, because total victory is our goal and total victory is within reach. But he conceded that if a ceasefire were agreed to, such an operation would be delayed somewhat.
We might have millions of people watching this show, but you can be the difference maker, because we just need 1% of our audience to be paid members, and then this show can be around forever. So you can make that difference. Click join now. First of all, Biden is likely saying this because of the Michigan primary today. Because both Israel and Hamas immediately afterwards denied that they were close to a deal. I don't know, there's some chance that Biden just totally made it up for political reasons. There's also some chance that he thought, well, they're working on a deal. I hear that maybe there'll be one, and I should say it the day before the Michigan primary, where a lot of Arab and Muslim Americans vote, because that'll help me seem like I'm getting to a peace solution. But if you, okay, so that's point one. point two, and remember, Israel and Hamas both say it's not true. We're not close. Okay, so whether he made it up or he's wrong, it doesn't really matter because it's not true.
Can I just jump in? So the sticking point is Hamas is saying, no temporary ceasefire. We want a permanent ceasefire. And Netanyahu has responded to that by saying that their ask is delusional. So there's been no movement on that.
Yeah, and his ask is that everyone in Hamas kill themselves. Also delusional. Okay, so we're at a delusional impasse.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to kill everyone in Hamas. Are you? And Jon Stewart did a brilliant job of calling that out just last night and saying that's totally delusional. So okay, now the other 2 points that are so important. Biden says, look at the details of what he says. We're going to have Israel move out 1 million people from Rafah, and then Israel's going to attack Rafah. So where's the ceasefire? What are you talking about? So, and how are you going to move 1 million people? So this is your great peace plan? You're going to let Israel continue the ethnic cleansing. But Rafah is the last part of Gaza that they got squeezed into.
Exactly.
What do you want? Or do you want them to go back up north? What kind of lunatic statement is this? And do we have any reporters in this country? When he makes that statement, you got to ask him, where are they going to move the 1 million people? And when does Israel re-engage the slaughter? And do they? And then when they move the 1 million people, if that's even a plan, I don't even think that it's an actual plan. But if they did, then do you have a guarantee that wherever they go will not be bombed? Because in the beginning they said go to the south, we won't bomb it. Then they bombed the south. Then they said go to Rafah and we won't bomb it, and then they bomb Rafah. Look, Biden is either a giant liar, or he's just trying to make excuses for Israel. And he says it openly. I mean, he said it the other night. He said, I'm a Zionist. He's super proud of it. And look, I don't care about Zionism and what people call themselves, okay? But he's basically saying, I am doing Israel's bidding. He's not a fair arbiter. He's not helping Palestinians at all. Anyone pretending that Joe Biden is helping Palestinians even 1% is a giant liar and a propagandist. Okay, so then the second part is, he says, a process towards two-state solution. Okay, so you see what he just did? He moved the peace deal backwards. America used to be definitely in favor of a two-state solution. Now Biden's saying, no, it is not definite. In fact, we are not in favor of a two-state solution now. We're in favor of a process that delays the two-state solution. So Biden has made the situation worse, definitively. And meanwhile, he says, I'm a Zionist who's gonna send Israel $14 billion so they can bomb the people either in Rafah or as they're leaving Rafah, and we're gonna keep moving them around and keep bombing them. So no, you are not helping peace at all. You're a warmonger, 100% on the side of Netanyahu. All of your BS talk is just yappity yap, other than when you accidentally admit that you're gonna help them ethnically cleanse and commit a genocide and are never gonna get to peace. That's who Joe Biden is.
But you must vote for him, because if you don't, Trump is gonna get elected and he's gonna dismantle democracy. Except, do Democrats actually believe that? Because if they do believe it, would they be running someone as vulnerable as Joe Biden? Yeah. I just don't believe them, Cenk. I don't believe that they genuinely think that Trump is gonna dismantle democracy. I don't believe them.
I don't care what the Democrats think. I care what's reality. Trump is 100% not better. Trump hates Muslims so much, he wanted to ban all of us from the country. If there's some chance that Trump would just say, oh yeah, I'm 14 billion, make it 28 billion. Who cares, who cares? Miriam Adelson gave me money, AIPAC gave me money, whoever gave me money, murder them all, Trump might say. It's not like it's about, so we're stuck. We're stuck with two awful, warmongering, hateful choices. But the Democrats say you have to lie in favor of Joe Biden to pretend he's the angel. Well, he isn't. He's making this war worse. So anyone who reports that he's in favor of Palestinian rights, flat out lying.